Okay, so a week ago I asked on my community tab, because I've been requested many times to do a PVE tier list for Blazing Bash units. Because of course Blazing Bash units are units that are kind of made for PvE and PvP. They have an unawakened version that is for PvE, and the awakened version is for PvP. So lots of people have been asking me to make a tier list for the PvE versions. And I asked in my community tab, I thought that people wouldn't want this, but I guess yes, because 85%, 8.4 thousand votes, that's a lot. That's a lot of votes. I'm doing it. And this tier list was actually difficult to make because I didn't know most of these units from the top of my head. I had to, this took me like 30 minutes. I already had the tier list down here on my my other monitor already done. But it took me a while to figure it out because all these units, they're pretty similar. The PvE versions for the Blazing Bastions are not that different from one another, except for the few ones that are like at the top, right? So, yeah. And also, I'm not doing a PvP tier list for Blazing Bastions, by the way, because I've already done a PvP tier list, and the PvP tier list has the Blazing Bash units, so it's there. It's there. The Blazing Bash units are there, so there's not gonna be that. But yeah. So, going in, it's not done yet, because I do want to explain each and every unit, and of course I already have it on my side, but also Naruto, the first Blazing Bash, along with Sasuke of course, but he is an S tier, because even though he's the first one, he should be the worst, right? No, not necessarily. He is the only unit to this day that is actually a good booster, like a good booster for other units. He boosts other units by 25% for 7 turns, which is a lot, and gives them a chakra. Really good boosting. He is a really good support unit, has attack boosting as a field skill, and he also heals for 200, which is not that much if you look at it, but you know, every little bit of healing adds up and helps at the end of the day, so that's where I place him. Now Sasuke for a little bit of time was actually a pretty decent unit when it came to his tanking, but nowadays I don't feel like he's a worthy unit to bring as much as he used to be, so I'm putting him in the B tier. But he is quite decent for the tanking, but his jutsus lack. His jutsus are very bad, and there are really good free-to-play tanks out there for body, so you don't really need Sasuke. Then we have Gaara, same thing, tank, nothing else. I'm gonna go speed through the ones that are less important. So Rock Lee, awful for PvE. So, oh, and by the way, I have these units, some of these units have 2 versions right here. It's because their PvP version is actually better on PvE than their PvE version. So I actually included a second version, I'll rank both of them. So Neji, his PvE version is god-awful on PvE, I'm talking on PvE, but his Awakened version is actually pretty decent on PvE because he has 500 healing, or is it 400? It's 400 or 500 healing, and he has an AoE normal jutsu with a chance of mobilizing. He's actually not that bad on PvE, I'm sorry. Not that bad on PvE. Now, moving on, we have Hinata, not very good. Double single target, not very good. Hashirama is actually, to this day, very good. AoE ultimate, chance of immobilizing, and also, chance of mobilizing normal jutsu. And also, heal. He does have healing, he's very decent. Madara, he's not as good as he used to be. Multipliers are pretty low. I mean, the whole gimmick that he has is not very good. Haku and Zabuza, their PvE versions are god-awful, but Zabuza's Awakening is actually pretty good on PvE. Like, he has healing, he stacks damage reduction, he can be used to solo ninja road actually. I could do that, but it's gonna take 500 years, but you could solo ninja road with him. So that's something, that's for sure something. After that we have Sakura. Sakura is, she's okay. She has 250 healing, but she's one of those units that heal when moving map. She's not very good. So is Ino. Ino is okay. They're getting their linear breaks. They might bump up, but for the time being, they're okay. Same for Itachi and Shisui. They have nothing really crazy about them. They could have been mid-tier normal banner units, is what I'm saying. Orochimaru is god-awful. God-awful. This is the worst Blazing Bash ever made. Like, his PvP version should not even exist, and his PvE version is god-awful. I don't know why he even exists. Now Daedra, not Daedra, I'm sorry. For some reason I was thinking about Daedra. He's decent. No, he's not decent. He's mediocre, nothing crazy. He just ignores type disadvantage. That's his only trait of good. Now, finally getting to good stuff. Shikamaru, he's actually really good. He has 500 healing for skill, which is still an element that lacks healing, because the only good healer that have Decision 6 Pab's Mother, the skill one, so if you don't have him, you're kind of lacking. He does have a chance of resetting ultimate that is a decent ultimate with decent multiplier, so you know, he's pretty good. Choji, on the other hand, the one that came with him, is actually pretty bad. He is a nuker, but he depletes your health by 20% when you ult. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Now, Tsunade. Oh, another S tier. Really good unit. 500 healing for abilities, heals on ultimate, heals on body skill. Very, very good overall. Ignores type disadvantage. Very, very nice. Now, her counterpart, Jiraiya, ain't that hot. Jiraiya is pretty terrible. He's pretty terrible. Very bad. Moving on, we have Sasuke, which is going to the B tier. He has a gimmick that he ults and then he gets chakra back for his normal jutsu, because he has a chance of immobilizing. Not immobilizing, sorry. It's so hot, so if I mess up something, it's because it's super hot. It's difficult to think. It's he has a chance of slip damage, and then his normal jutsu doesn't increase damage against people that are slip damaged, but it's not enough damage to be worth it. Daedra is god awful, awful. Goes in the D tier. Now, that's good. It's the end of the D tier, by the way. Spoilers. Obito, he is okay. He can go in the B tier. So is Kakashi. They're nothing crazy. Kakashi is better than Obito. If we're ranking, Kakashi would be the best one of the B tier, but he doesn't quite go to the A tier, so I'm still keeping him in the B tier. Pain, another unit that the PvP version is actually better. Pain is meh. He's a below average unit, but his PvP version is actually pretty good. He has a lot of healing, like 700 healing for abilities, and he heals on his jutsu. It's actually pretty good. Not the same can be said about his counterpart Conan, pretty trash. And then we have Kakashi. Now Kakashi, I would place him in the C tier, but he does have the 500 attack boost for skill, and he's the best field attack booster as it is for skill. So, okay, I'm sorry I had to make a cut because, as I said, it's incredibly hot, so I made a cut to turn on my fan. I think it's not picking up because I'm using the quiet one, so I hope it isn't. I was about to talk about my guy. So my guy is actually very good. He is a nuker, and he does give himself chakra nukes, and overall he's a pretty good unit actually. He's the only really good nuker when it comes to the Blazing Bashes, like the only one. Killing Sasuke is meh. If he wasn't a 500 attack booster, I'll keep him in C tier, but again, he's the best body attack booster, so I keep him in the B tier. Itachi, on the other hand, he is a very bad unit. He's mediocre. Now Minato, this is actually going pretty fast because all of these units, as I said, they all look alike somehow. They don't have really much special to them, except the ones in S and A tier. All the units in B tier and below are just generic units, pretty much. Which is why, again, I'm not... in Blazing Festival tier list, I did specify more the units, like, oh, he comes here because of this and this, but this is just like, oh, he does slip damage and health recovery seal. That's pretty much what these Blazing Bash units do. So only like really the S and A tiers are the ones that really get ahead of the other ones. Obito, here's another entry for the A tier. He does it in full map ultimate that has a chance of mobilizing. I hate units that have a chance of mobilizing but they are single target, because most single target ultimates you just want to do on the last boss or like a mini boss, not in like a random ad. So like in full map ultimate you can do in a wave of enemies that can maybe be immobilized. So, you know, very good. Because bosses and mini bosses just can't be immobilized. Period. Only like in super easy events, which in that case you don't even need immobilization. Mother, same thing. When he ults, he hits the whole map and gives himself 50% damage reduction for 4 turns, which is very, very good. Naruto is okay. And then Sakura. Sakura is a better Tsunade. I was thinking of it, and I think Sakura is actually better than Tsunade. Not by much, but she is. She is very, very good. Sakura is very nice. And then we have Hinata, which is actually, oh, I was talking about my guy being the only one, but actually Hinata is a really good nuker as well. She does have a very high multiplier and very high attack stat. And it resets on ultimate in Runbujutsu, so she is actually very good. She would be like one of the top ones for the A tier. Kisame is also A tier. He's really, really good. The AoE on his ultimate is very good, has healing. He has, overall, he's pretty good. He has a reset chance of ultimate and Runbujutsu. Very, very good PvE unit. Ashura is mediocre, just okay. He's a B tier. Naruto. Neo, Naruto, and Sasuke. Naruto is no doubtably an S tier. He's very, very good. I would say he is actually, I don't know if I would say he's the best one of the S tier, but he is very, very good. 500 healing per turn, the ultimate hits the whole map as well, increases damage by 10%. And I would say, if you're talking about usability, these 3 units might have better usability, but Naruto is very good. No doubtably he's very good. And Sasuke comes in the A tier. Not the S tier, but the A tier serves him well. He is very good as well. I would say he's one of the top ones of the A tier too. But no doubt he's very good. Not as good as Naruto, just because Naruto heals. Healing, as I said many times, healing is kind of like the meta of PvE. If you have a team that heals a lot and has like decent damage reduction, it's very difficult for you to die. Of course, there are missions like Super Impacts where you have like a 50 turns kind of like a deadline that you have to do so you get extra pearls, but in general, you just don't want to get killed, and healing just helps on that. Having a lot of damage doesn't help when you're not getting killed most of the time. I mean, if you clear them fast enough, of course you're not going to get killed, but in most difficult events, no matter how good, how strong your units are, like damage-wise, it's not going to be enough. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say anything below A, I'll not even like keep in their PvE form. Of course, Neji is the PvP form and Zabuza is as well, so I'll just keep him in the PvP form always. And I mean, honestly, you really don't want to use anyone the A tier. Only if you're lacking units. Only if you're really lacking units on your team, maybe you can keep like Hinata, and then you're like, oh, let me Blazing Awaken Hinata and use her on this mission. But in general, you don't really wanna. Pang, as I said, he's also a unit that his PvP form is the. I mean, honestly, he's better with his PvP form on PvE than he is on PvP. Anyways, he's garbage on PvP. So just keep him for PvE on his PvP form. And of course, these units, maybe you want to switch them when you're gonna do a raid, because honestly, like these two specifically, like I have Sakura on Blazing Awaken because I prefer her on PvE than PvP. I have her max duped. I was pretty lucky on pulling her on the Naruto and Sasuke banners, but I keep her for PvE, and she's on my PvE team for body. She's really good. I'll do the same if I had Tsunade max duped as well. Like Sakura is decent on PvP, but I would prefer her PvE version, to be honest. Also, Naruto is a good, really good unit for PvP, but if you, for some reason, want to boost, if you really want to boost, you might want to switch him for PvE and use him. But this is the tier list. Thank you guys for watching, and finally putting it after months and months of people requesting it.